In this video, I'm going to explain why online coaching is actually better to develop skill development, and a big reason why that is because skill development is progressional. Now, I got this exact phrase from a guy named Jason Selk. Jason Selk is one of the mental performance coaches. He worked with the Cardinals when like Adam Wainwright and Albert Pujols and all those guys were winning a bunch of World Series. And I found out about him because I did a camp with another guy who was coached by him, and he told me to read his book. And this was one of the main things in it, and that idea has forever changed my life. So Jason Selk, I appreciate you. You have helped me a ton, and I think that this idea is going to change all of youth sports. Here's why. If skill development is progressional, that means that there is a progression or an order that is best used to teach the skill. Now, a lot of people, especially like with things when it comes to the swing, a lot of coaches will say, well, you can't have a linear path to skill development because everyone's swing is different. And I will say that that is more true for hitting than it is for other skills like catching. I believe in catching. It is a very linear skill development path. And I think that's why I've been able to have so much success with my program online. I think especially defensive skills are very, very linear in skill development. And so a lot of times what happens, like if there's a linear path here, one of the critiques that I'll get, or one of the pieces of pushback that I'll get is, well, not everyone is going to need the same cues. Well, you're right, because everyone is different, but the path to learning mastery of the skill is the same. And so basically what you want to create is you want to create a linear path that then helps people understand the extremes on each side, and then you help correct. So what this looks like is you have, the linear path mapped out. Here are the exact steps that you need to do in order to get here. And by the way, this takes a long time to actually know enough to be able to run this program. But if someone builds it and it's right, then you don't have to know how to build it. You just have to know how to give feedback. But so then as you go through this linear path, each player is going to have different problems. But what you're going to find is that for problem number one, for example, a catcher moving into different stances, there's really only a few things that they're going to mess up. They're going to mess up their legs, their torso, or their arms and target. And so then once you know that, then it's like, okay, well, it's all shapes. So let's look at the shapes. What's a good shape? What's a bad shape? This kid leans to the side where his knee is up. His torso tilts like this. Well, let's get him back square. Another kid leans too far forward and is making his target too small. So let's get him up. And so once you know what good looks like here, then you just give the correct feedback on whatever side the kid leans towards to get them back to what good looks like. And then once you get them into a good stance, then we can work on blocking, receiving, throwing, or whatever, right? You could literally exchange this for any sport. And when you build the program correctly, it gets incredible results way faster than doing an in-person lesson, especially if they don't have a system that they're working through. All that being said, one of the big ideas that online training hangs on, in my opinion, is this. It's that skill development is progressional. If you don't believe that skill development is progressional, then you cannot build a productized program where it's the same skills that you're teaching and then you give video feedback along the way. You would have to do something much more customized. And if it's not progressional, then that means that it's going to be very hard to transfer that skill. But I believe that all skill development, whether it's teaching or whether it's coaching or whether it's catching or whether it's even hitting, I believe that there is a proven path for how to develop that skill. And when you have someone who has mastered that path and can coach someone and help give them the personalized feedback that they need, almost like bumpers on a bowling lane, to get them back to good, you can make really great progress really quickly. That is a crash course in how skill development is progressional. If you want to learn more about how I use this to create a whole program, then check out this video right over here. My name is Anj Bourgeois. Let's win together.